Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Three subjects for this video. Yes, meow meow. Okay, welcome back. Thank you. Show them your tail now. Come on, you. Three topics for this video, and they have to do with arming Ukraine. The West will continue the war and has, I think, no intention to stop it. Why? Because the conditions the Russians offered them or gave them for stopping the war are unacceptable for NATO. And not for NATO, but the guys in charge of NATO. And I'm not talking about the politicians. I'm talking about the interests that have the politicians like that. So, first, we have Ukraine's European backers, not Boris Becker, can't replace United States' military aid, according to New York Times. So if the United States of America says pass, the Europeans, which I just made a video a minute ago with the Europeans, it's incorrect to say Europeans, because Europeans, are the entire continent, all countries, all Europeans, you include them all. You may say some Europeans, or if you know exactly who, you name them, which I will. The Brits, the French, they threatened Russia with sanctions, with military, with troops, with everything. I made a video a minute ago. So they threaten, but they are ridiculous because they can't implement that. They're weak. And here is, according to New York Times, Ukraine's European backers can't replace US military aid. But I have another article coming from, again, the evil Russians, where the Americans agree to send Ukraine long-range missiles. So the Europeans, the Brits and the French keep saying, and Zelensky Stein, they keep saying Russia doesn't want peace because it doesn't agree with the 30-day ceasefire. Not 29-day, 30-day, not 28, not 32, not 34, 30. For whatever reason, 30 is the magic number. And only after that, these guys agree to discuss any peace negotiations with Putin, only when the ceasefire occurs. And Macron said, I covered that in a video today, that we can't have peace negotiations while the guns are still blah blah blah. Yeah, but these guys are arming Ukraine for the same reason. So that's the second article. And the third one, we have a defender of Russia, which is in a coalition. That is King Jong-un, the woodchuck from North Korea, plus China and others, who see Russia as the wall against the blackmail threats, regime change, and attacks from some Western countries. So let's start with the first article, related to European backers are not able to replace US military aid. That means without the US, their threats are not worth making, but they still make them. Washington has not allowed new arms supplies to Kiev in months, the newspaper wrote. That's what they say. Here's the next article. US greenlights long-range missile transfer to Ukraine. This is May 11, 2025. The other one is May 10, 2025. So the next day. Ukraine's European sponsors lack the manufacturing capacity to replace US arms supplies to Kiev, the New York Times wrote on Saturday. Well, why is that? The Pentagon, the military-industrial complex in the United States of America, sells, I think, 75% of the entire planet's arms sales. Rheinmetall is what? Maybe 5%, 3%. The Russians have about, 17, 18. The Chinese have, 5 or something. So I'm very loose on these ones, but I know the Americans are by far. So Rheinmetall, the Germans are really nothing. And that's why they put here Rheinmetall. So without the Americans, you have nothing. Or not enough. Russia Today. US greenlights long-range missiles transferred to Ukraine. So where do you think these long-range missiles will hit? Do you think it's going to hit only in Ukraine, in Donbass, in Crimea? No, they're going to hit in Russia, and the Russians will do what? Well, they should have declared war a long time ago. Washington has approved American weapons deliveries from German stockpiles. What do you mean German stockpiles? Oh, yeah, because the Americans have bases in Germany because Germany is still under occupation, and nuclear weapons. No, not Germany. Germany doesn't have nuclear weapons. Not allowed. Only the Americans, who used them twice, atomic. It's not nuclear. All right, well, if you like it, maybe it's going to be done to you. The US has approved the transfer of 100 Patriot air defense missiles and 125 long-range artillery rockets from German stockpiles to Ukraine, the New York Times reported on Friday, citing a congressional official. Under US export rules, American-made systems cannot be re-exported without prior approval from Washington. They will not be legally re-exported. They will be transferred. Okay, let's use some euphemisms here, okay? So, the move follows Russia's declaration of 72, no problem. So, these guys are incapable, it's okay. These guys are jumping in. And the last topics for this video has to do with the woodchuck. Kim Jong-un. May 10th, 2025. Kim Jong-un, aka the woodchuck, vows to defend Russia against West. You know why? Because under their agreement, if Kim Jong-un is attacked by these guys right here and their jackals, these guys right here have to intervene, and they will. North Korea earlier helped Moscow expel Ukrainian troops from the border Kursk region. They didn't fight. Remember, that's a distinction. They did not fight in Ukraine. They fought in Kursk in Russia, NATO's invasion. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un paid a visit to the Russian embassy in Pyongyang, beautiful, on Friday to mark the 80th anniversary of the Soviet victory over Nazi Germany in World War II. He used the occasion to reaffirm North Korea's alliance with Moscow and promised to defend the country from any Western-backed attack, including by the Kiev neo-Nazis. He got it. Okay. So, is it concerning? I think it is. For some it's time to uncork some champagne bottles. Now, why do we have this? Is it because these guys are evil? Well, okay, but you have many evil guys in the neighborhood. They're not necessarily allied or allies. Why are they now together? Is it because they're bad? Not all bad come together in the middle of the night in the forest and they say, okay guys, we're here because we're bad. No, they're over there because they have a common threat. And the threat is the forces of the good. Did I say it right? Why do I say that? Because that's the narrative we are supposed to parrot. And everything else outside of that, we could be called names and, maybe, some repercussions. Negative, mind you, right? So, who got these guys together? If you don't know, I'm talking to the Americans, the Westerners. I should give them a mirror. And then we'll realize the problem is they don't have accountability or self-reflection. And even if they have it, they don't have the courage to admit, maybe I play a big role or big part in this guys' alliance. Maybe I should change the tune. Maybe I should try diplomacy for a change instead of threats, maneuvers, military, and all that. But hey, they lost that. No, they didn't lose it. They dropped it. The Americans dropped their diplomacy from the diplomatic toolbox. Most of the tools they had, like flair, knowledge, flexibility, understanding, people with diplomatic skills, they dropped all those tools and they got only 4 tools. And I mentioned this many, many times before. The United States of America has left in its diplomacy or diplomatic toolbox 4 tools. It is threats, blackmail, regime change, and then the other one is straight invasion, bombardments, and destruction. That's what it is. But now, why? Because in 1991, the exact date they dropped all those, they said, out, keep how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's good enough. They didn't need to use the other ones, like the lion. The lion doesn't have to negotiate with the jackal on the savannah when they see over there a dead antelope. Fuck off, jackal. That's how it goes. I don't have to discuss with you anything. What are they going to do? Blow me. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.